The Mr. Excel podcast is brought to you by Easy Excel. Hey, welcome back to the Mr. Excel netcast. I'm Bill Jelen. This is a question sent in by me. I was working on a big project last week, and I had a situation. We had a report where you could choose various cities from the report, and then needed to show sales figures for these various points in time. And the database back here, data, you'll see had just thousands and thousands of rows. So for every single market, there were values for numbers, ranging from maybe 10 or 20 out to 70 or 80. And we had to go find the VLOOKUP for that. And I was curious about the best way to go about this. Now, in Excel 2007, we have the new SUMIFS command. SUMIFS. Normally, I would have done some sort of like a concatenated key back in the data, and I wanted to see if I could use SUMIFS to solve this. So with SUMIFS, we say equal SUMIFS. This is new in Excel 2007. The sum range is this value over here in column C on the data worksheet. And then we start to specify pairs of criteria. So the first pair of criteria is go look through column A on the data sheet and see if it's equal to cell A1. We'll press F4 there. Next criteria is go look through the values here in column B and see if that's equal to the particular value here in column B. All right, so we're doing a SUMIFS. It's looking through just a whole bunch of data, but it does accurately get the value for Loveland. And as we change to a different city, those values update. So that's one way to go. But then I started to think the problem with that, talking about formula speed, is that it has to look through thousands and thousands and thousands of rows. And I wondered if there was a faster way, although requiring a few more functions. So the first thing I want to know is, where does the records for Loveland start? So I use a match function. Go find Loveland. Over here in data, look through column A and tell me where the first place that we have Loveland. And it says that's in row 11,177. And then see how many records we have for Loveland. Now, in a perfect world, there would be the same number of records here for every city, but in real life, it's not the same number, and there's days missing here and there. So we're going to do equal COUNTIF. Look through those cities back there in column A and see how many of them are equal to Loveland there. And we'll see that there's 53 records for Loveland. Now, what can I do? Can I use that information in my VLOOKUP to make the VLOOKUP look at only those 53 records? All right, so here's what we do. Equal VLOOKUP. Of course, I want to look up this value here. But then when we get to the table array, rather than specifying that whole big table of 10,000 rows or 8,000 rows or whatever it is, we use the offset. The offset says, hey, we're going to start back here on the data worksheet up in cell A1. And from that cell, I want to go down a certain number of rows. How many rows do I want to go down? Well, that is this value up here in C1. We'll press F4, -1. And then over some number of columns. Well, from the city, we actually want to go over one column. Specify the height. That's this value here. It's going to be different for every city. And the width is 2 columns because I have the day value and then the actual value that I want to return. All right, so that offset function actually becomes the table array. And then I want the second column, comma, false, just like normal. And we'll put that in, double click to copy it down, okay? And both answers work just fine, looking at the right values. Now let's take a look at formula speed to see which one is faster. All right, so we have this value. We're going to press my macro here, and it takes 34 hundredths of a second to calculate the first one. We'll try the second method and press F9. Look at that. So from 3/10 of a second down to 2/100ths of a second, 7 times faster to go through the relatively painful process of setting up these 2 helper cells up here out of the way. But it makes the VLOOKUP faster because it's only looking at, well, 67 rows in this case instead of 10,000 rows. Much, much faster way to go. So, hey, I want to thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time for another netcast from Mr. Excel.